Hello! Let me introduce myself as Snowfleet. My username, yes, is the original 3, but I typically go as Snowfleet on my other accounts, especially DeviantArt. And so, this is going to be my first recording. Please forgive me for any weird stuff, especially if I sound mildly uncomfortable. But I want to try and do a walkthrough, starting off with an old game that was made back in 2001 called Harvest Moon Save the Homeland. This is one of the first games that I ever played. Well, no. It was one of the earliest ones I've played. And so what you're doing, like in every other Harvest Moon, you are taking over your grandfather's farm. Well, I remember that, yeah, you go through and you're in essence trying to save this village, if you want to call it a village, your little place, whatever. Probably village would be the best thing to call it. It's just way out in the countryside. You're not really in any town. You've got shops and everything. You live by a lake, so I mean, you've pretty much got it good in this area. And so, how you find out about this is that whole first part of the thing is you get a letter from your dad, and he tells you that the grandfather died, da-da-da-da. Well, that's just typical of any Harvest Moon, that the grandfather died and you get to take over the whole thing. And everything's all old, worn down, but you never get the chance to upgrade it. Well, no, the house you do, but that costs like 10,000 gold. And apparently my guess is, by how you go through and look at the whole farm, is that the grandfather has probably been dead for who knows how long, probably a few months. Long enough for somebody to come in and take all the animals. That just said that the coop was all dusty and worn down. It's really, like, I always enjoyed playing this. Harvest Moon was one of the first games I ever played. The first Harvest Moon I played was back on Game Boy Color, and I think that was just Harvest Moon GBC. So I don't have it anymore, mostly because my dogs chewed it up. I left it on the floor, stupid me. And so I had to get rid of it. Well, I guess now that I look back at it, they only chewed the very edge of it, so I could have probably cut off that bottom part and salvaged the little cartridge, but I was young and I was stupid. Probably could skip this intro, but for the whole walkthrough, I'll leave it in. Like I said, this is my first time, so I'm trying to think of things to say while I'm doing this without getting repetitive or boring. Probably once I start recording more and more, it'll become easier and everything. So right now, your character is just going through the farm, looking through the house, examining where he's going to be living. And I like how, ironically, he doesn't really, you know, it's just like, oh, I'm going to just go ahead and take this over. And yet, he's already wearing farmer's clothes. Does that strike anybody as odd? I don't know. And here's the Harvest Sprites. For any of those that don't know, Harvest Sprites have almost always been in each and every single Harvest Moon. Or at least as far as the ones that I've played. There's only been a couple for the DS, such as Grand Bazaar, and some of those oddball ones that I've noticed that either I haven't come across them, or they're just not included at all. I already know these guys. It's Knick, Knack, and Flack, just so you know. Which one's which, I can never remember. I'm not even going to try and guess. Once this whole cutscene is over and you actually go to start talking to everybody in the village, the first time you talk to them, they'll introduce themselves and say, oh, hi, I'm this Harvest Sprite. You know, and they tend to give you advice, which gets repetitive, because I mean I've played so many Harvest Moons. Apparently in this game, Harvest Sprites, and I wonder if this goes through each and every Harvest Moon, is that Harvest Sprites aren't typically seen by normal people, or at least by a majority of the people. So I'm wondering if somehow all this isn't like, I don't know, he's actually like some sort of like special person, I don't know. And since I know what they're saying, I'm just kind of skipping through all of this. They're just saying that they're having a problem and they're asking the character to help. And the problem is that this big corporation wants to build an amusement park over the whole land, like everything. So this little village that they have here, it's just gonna go bye-bye in a year. So your job now, or soon to be, is to find a way, which all you do is make friends with the villagers and you follow the cutscenes and try and do what you can to save the village. My name, what's my name? It's my name. And we'll just give him my fiance's name. And that floaty fairy, her name is the Harvest Goddess for any of you non-Harvest Moon people. She has always been either mentioned, at the very least mentioned, but majority of the time has always made an appearance in any Harvest Moon game. She, in essence, is like the keeper of the land. And then she wants to make sure that your character is the right person, and so she then is now asking me questions like, oh my gosh, are you really the great person that we need, or are you just another person that's going to live here? So I honestly don't know what she says if you choose all the negative stuff or if you mix it up. I haven't done that just because, like, as a kid I'd always be like, oh, that's what I would do, that's what I would do. Maybe one of these times if I ever play it again or make a new save file, I'll just answer them all bad. So after some thinking, you'll see here, here we go. She'll then ask you, or no, she'll just say, please do us this favor or whatnot. And then she goes on saying how it is fate that has brought you to save this land. Well, and then the sprites will actually just say, no, that's just fake. She's just doing this to put him under a spell, which I honestly don't know if that's really true or not, but I mean, oh, farm name, great. S-U. That's not how you spell Natsum, is it? No, I think there's an E at the end there. I don't know. I know that in some older Harvest Moon games that if you name certain animals or your character certain thing, Nintendo usually will actually put in some sort of I don't think it's an Easter egg, but it's either a glitch or an intentional cheat that you can expose. Like in the Game Boy Color, if you name your cow, what was it? Oh my gosh, it's been forever. You can actually look this up on Google. Go ahead and name your cow like it's either 4 hearts or 4 music notes. That your cow will be fully grown whenever you get it, instead of being the little calf that you typically get it at. And so then, yeah. And then they just say, oh yeah, we'll be over here, da-da-da-da-da. Sorry about that little hiccup. I've only got a free version of Bandicam, and it only lets me record 10 minutes at a time. So hopefully this will be the only day that it'll do that. 50% chance of rain. Alright. So then you start off with all your tools all automatically in your rucksack, which is what they call another cutscene. Oh, the sprites just explain to you what goes on. I'm going to skip that. I've played so many Harvest Moon games now that it's not funny. I know what's going on. I'm going to go ahead, till up my land, and sow my seeds. Go ahead, get the potatoes going for the season. Alright, this dog food dish, if you guys haven't played this game before, is for the stray. There's 2 different stray dogs in the game. You leave the food in the bowl every morning, and I've always had it to be about the 16th of spring, I've noticed, is when you can actually finally pick up the dog and quote-unquote adopt it. After you pick up the dog and you choose to keep that one, the other one will just disappear. So now what time is it? It is almost 8 o'clock in the morning, which means that this little store will open, and I get to talk to the owner of the food shop, which honestly I don't think there's an ending where it includes him. If there is, I'd have to look it up. I did print out a walkthrough because it's been a long time since I've played this game, so I'm going to go ahead and look at all that. I want to get this first day done with, and that'll be the first video, and then maybe I'll keep recording each day, or I will go like wait a week, post a new video with the new whatever. I'll record each day, and then if I have anything serious that happens that day, like another cutscene, I'll include that in the next video. We'll see what happens. If I sound too monotonous, please leave a comment and let me know. Like I said, it is my first time recording. It still seems awkward because my parents might sometimes go ahead and stop in my room and say, "Oh, hey, look, what are you doing? Who are you talking to?" They freaked out whenever I first started using Skype because they're like, "What are you doing?" So, alright, this is Tim. Oh, that scientist back in the other square, his name's Lewis. Don't know if you knew. But, majority of these characters are part of each ending. I believe that there is 9 endings, which I think technically there's only 8 valid ones that would work, because one of them is called Treasure Hunt 1, where you help that little guy named Tim. He's an adventurer. He's a big part in the very last ending, where you go on this treasure hunt. Ooh, and you find some sort of buried treasure that's like, oh wait a minute, no, this will save our town, because either you guys, I think, find enough money to pay off the amusement park company not to build over the land, or there's some rare item that's like an artifact and can, like, if it stays in the village, they won't build over the village. I can't remember. This guy is Woody. He owns the carpentry. I'd have to look up and see if he's part of any ending too, but there's Nick, Neck, and Flack. They're going somewhere. I don't remember. This is Nick. He would be considered the leader, and so whenever you first start talking to them, they'll give you hints on how to socialize with the townsfolk. And wow, I'm already talking Harvest Moon already. Alright. And so they just give really basic advice. Partially, he is part of one of the endings. I believe it is the Blue Mist Flower, where you actually grow a very rare flower that I don't think it's actually is it the flower? Yes, it is the flower itself, because it's such a rare flower. And so, because it is the only one, it's an endangered flower, they decide that they can't build over the village. And so, because of that, your village is saved. Joe here, he's a fisherman and also an apprentice at the carpentry. His main quest is the silverfish. In most Harvest Moons they have a River King. This time, it is mentioned in here, actually, about the River King, but this time, for him, it is the silverfish that actually saves the land. It's a very rare fish, just as, I'm guessing, just about as rare as a River King. And so, because you happen to catch one after making friends with Joe and everything, you get these special rods and da-da-da-da. It's, oh, here's one of the stray dogs. If you ever get close to one, they start running away. And after a while, you'll get them to warm up to you. But, all in all, it is, mostly just figuring out which ending. Oh yeah, the silverfish. Jeez, wow. Yeah, because, and you catch the silverfish. That's what happens. But you don't send it off. You return it, but the fish leaves the silver scale, which Joe takes it and he, so I guess, I think he sends a letter or something. Usually you finish off the cutscene, you wait a few days, I think like a week or two, and then, you get a final cutscene saying, yay, you saved the Homeland! Which, I mean, is yay, yippee for everybody. This is Kurt, the second apprentice over the carpentry. What is he in? I can't remember what he's in. I know he's part of something. Oh, little Tim's going home from work. That's cute. There's more people over that way, but because it's starting to sunset and everything, which means it's almost the end of the video, oh, these are almost, if I buy the full version of Bandicam, this is going to be starting to get hard to do with only a 10-minute video length. Might have to look into another screen recording. Hopefully one that'll also let me record my voice as well. It will, but yeah, there's other villagers the other way, but because it's getting to be nighttime, which if you watch over this way, you actually get to watch the sunset. It's really fun. And then you get the bright light in your face and everything. It had pretty good for a 2001 game. I still think that the graphics are actually pretty good for that time. Probably because they didn't make it look realistic but more cartoonish, and I think that it still looks good. I mean, probably they could have done the eyes a little better or something, I don't know. And if you all have a really grainy graphic effect, I think that's mostly due to the screen being stretched out 1920 by 1080 or something like that. But yes, you look at that, you kind of got that full effect going on there. And so with the other villagers, they've all got certain thing, like you get multiple villagers per quest too. Like you've got to make friends with some of them. You need like 3 or 4 friends to be friends with, and others you can just do whatever. What time is it now? 7? Huh. If you stay up late enough and watch it, you can actually watch the animals fall asleep. I think it's at 9 o'clock that they fall asleep. If you stay up too late, I mean, I think the limit is like 6 in the morning. That's just because that's whenever your character gets up if you go to bed. But you automatically return to your home. If you stay up too late while it is raining, I think you do get cutscenes where you get sick. Maybe I'll just show that to you guys one time and show you what it's like. Oh, hey, I didn't know I could do it like that. Okay, yeah. So this, once again, my name is Snowfleet. My username is the original 3. That was I don't know why I did the original 3. That's another story that I'm working on personally. But yeah, maybe I will see you guys next week. We'll see. Signing off.